Build up your email list with thousands of new contacts using cold email scraping. Let's do it. Okay, what we need to do first is address the elephant in the room, and that is the legal side of cold email and the difference between cold email and spam. Now, every day I'll get leaflets in my mailbox. That'll be, actually I'm English, so I'm going to say in my post box. And in my post box I'll get leaflets from pizza companies or double glazing or people wanting to put solar panels on my roof. Now, that is totally untargeted. They don't know that I'm interested or not in double glazing or pizza or whatever it is. They just sort of assume that people will be generally interested in this. Now I ask you, is that cold email? Cold leafleting, or is that spam? I would say spam, because they don't know anything about me. They don't know, I could be a 90-year-old who is who's never eaten a pizza in their life, so it's it's totally irrelevant to me. Now, the difference between cold email and spam is this: that cold email is targeted. You know that the person that you're emailing has got an interest in what you're sending them. Spam is just, hey, buy Bitcoin. You don't know who that person is, if they even know what Bitcoin is. Okay, but cold email is that that there's something about it. So if I get a leaflet in my door that says something like, you really recently visited this shop in town, and you filled out this form, and we just want to send you a follow-up message. Now that is probably a lot more cold email, because they know that I've been in that shop, I've signed up that form, I'm interested in what they're selling. I hope that makes sense. Now, I found this this document that showed a bit more about the legality of cold email versus spam. Now, GDPR is basically the rules that we have in Europe that is about spam and all this type of stuff and protecting your data and all that type of stuff, and it's really, really strict. It's a lot stricter than the States and possibly the rest of the world. So if you follow the laws for GDPR, you're probably covered in most of the States, most of the rest of the world. Okay, so the key that we want to look at here is this. So GDPR doesn't give a specific definition of spam. It states that processing, this is quite important, the use of a person's data, including their email address, is only legal when the person has given consent to the processing of his or her personal data for one or more purposes. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's quite important, and that may stop us right there and then and go, okay, they haven't given us express consent to send them an email that is to do with something we know they're interested in. Processing is necessary for the purposes of legitimate interest pursued by the sender. Okay, so that's a bit more interesting. This bit is what we're very interested in when it comes to the difference between spam and cold email, if we're going to send cold emails. It later goes on to further discuss what it means by legitimate interest. And according to the leading privacy consulting firm in the EU, distinguishes that if a company has legitimate interest in cold calling through email marketing, the marketing emails may be sent to potential customers without their consent. Okay, so this is the really important bit for us. Okay, so they must have a legitimate interest. So if we're sending someone an email about yoga, for example, in London, which we're going to look at later, we need to justify that that person has some interest in yoga and London. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That's the first part of this. It's really important. It's a bit more dull, but we have to make sure that we cover ourselves. So let's now go and look at how we're actually going to get all these emails to doing our cold email calling. Okay, so the way that we can do this, there's several approaches. I'm going to show you in this video the free approach, the sort of very quick, very maybe a little bit dirty, very quick, dirty approach. In my course that I'll talk to you about later, there's lots of other approaches that are a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot more. You can just leave overnight and it'll do it. But in this one, I wanted to show you the very free, easy to access one. So I'm going to use this website here, which is called recruitedin.net, recruitedin.net, and this is a really cool website. So what we're going to do, we're going to go with this. Excuse me. We're going to look at people in London who are into yoga. Let's say that's the email list that we want to build up. We're a company that wants to do that, reach those sort of people. So what we're going to do, we've got on this website, we can either look at LinkedIn, so we could go for a more professional market. We have all these other options here that I've never really used, but we're going to go for Twitter because that's the more generic one, right? So we're going to click on the Twitter icon there, have a sip of coffee while it loads, and what we're going to do, we're going to look at London. There we go, I've done it before. Did a little test. It's quite slow. Maybe lots of people are using it at the moment. I'm going to look at yoga. We can exclude things. So, for example, we might want to exclude, I don't know, a yoga trainer. We want to go for people who are into yoga, but they're not necessarily trainers. I'm not going to do that now, but so that's sort of quite a helpful thing. And then we click on that. And then we'll come to this this here, and then we can just open up in Google. Now at this point, you may not want to use your regular Google account. Don't know what's happened here. Let's see, try again. Because if you're going to be doing lots of scraping, then Google might flag that, might get a bit upset. So you might want to use just a dummy account, or do it incognito or something like that. So basically what this is doing now, this is looking, and it's just giving everything to do with yoga and London, which is really helpful if specifically you want to if you're just wanting to reach out to people. If you're not doing it for email scraping, this is actually a really good service and really good way of doing that. Okay, so it's worth bearing this website in mind for other marketing purposes. But what we're going to do, we're going to look specifically at getting email addresses. So what we want to do is go right to the very end of this long string here. Okay, and we come to the end, and we type in this. We just type in Gmail in brackets. Okay. Now the thing is, I should point out here, you can type in anything. You could type in any Hotmail, Gmail, any sort of general, but obviously Gmail is the one that the majority of people tend to use. But you can try lots. Go to search. And straight away here we can see email addresses popping up. You see it there, so on. Okay, so we've got absolutely lots of email addresses straight away just from that simple exercise. Okay, so what we want to do now is highlight all of this and then copy all this. Okay, so the key is though, what do we want to do with all of this first? Now, I would advise that you could go over to a cheeky little app that I have put on my website on moojelly.com. Okay, email extractor. You can read all this if you want, and there's a little article that I've put at the bottom here, a little bit more about white ethical, sort of white hat, I should say, white hat ethical email extraction. So what we would do, all the text that we've copied, basically put it in here like this, paste it. So that's all the text of that page. Then we go to extract email, and there we go. There is, I mean, I don't know how many there are there, quite a few email addresses straight away that if you were building up an email list of yoga people that had some sort of connection with London, then that would be a perfect way of doing that. But what do we do with these now? Now, there's lots of things that we can do with these email addresses. One of the things is just build up a spreadsheet, and then you want to clean up all the email addresses, and then you want to put them into your system, and then a whole sort of way of them firing off email addresses where people can unsubscribe and make it all sort of very legal and ethical. Basically, what I have done, I've put together a cheeky course that basically outlines all of this for you. Okay, in this course, there's going to be 5 steps. It's going to talk about other ways that you can scrape email addresses. Like I said, there are some other ways where you can basically leave your computer on overnight and you'll just get thousands and thousands and thousands of email addresses, which is absolutely amazing. And then I go into the process of how then you clean up those email addresses, because you don't want dead email addresses. That's going to make your servers bounce all over the place, and then probably you get banned. So you want to clean them all up, and then you want to go and make sure that you send out those email addresses, those emails in a very ethical way. So I'm going to tell you literally the whole process of being able to scrape email addresses ethically, send out cold emails, and set all that up. And also the fact that you can set up that whole process up for free if you need to. There are overpaid options that are a lot easier, but there are free options that you can have basically for life. Okay, so this course is going to tell you everything about this. What you can do is come over and watch the video, and that explains the whole process to you. You can sort of see me explaining everything. Yeah, if you're interested in that, that'd be really good. Now, I have got 5 codes that I've put on that basically are giving this course away 75% off to 5 people. So I'm going to put the code under this video, and you can do that, and the first 5 people will get 75% off. And then the rest of the people have paid full price, but honestly the contents in here is worth the full price. And say you can build a whole system for free, and that's going to save you hundreds and hundreds over the course of, say, 5 years or something like that. So it's definitely worth it. So there you go. There is a rough guide to scraping tons and tons, thousands of email addresses. That is legal and for cold email purposes, not spam. Okay, take care.